Hey, howdy ho, everybody! This is Postmortem Nightshade, and I am back to talk about one of my least anticipated movies of the year. Although I'm sure it is very, very many people's most anticipated movie of the year, which is perfectly okay. Today we're talking about The Devil Wears Prada 2. A direct sequel to the classic film from 2006, we reunite with the exact same cast of characters 20 years later. And if that doesn't make you feel old yet, I don't know what will. This film was directed by David Frankel, who is also the same director from the first film. Our two leads also remain the same, with Meryl Streep as Miranda and Anne Hathaway as Andy. Let me preface this review by saying that I am someone who very much enjoyed the first Devil Wears Prada film. It's not my favorite of the era, but I still really enjoy it and have seen it several times. But when I saw they were making a sequel, I was immediately getting the vibes that this was a pointless, nostalgia bait cash grab that absolutely did not need to be made. And that's coming from someone who thoroughly enjoyed the most recent Super Mario Galaxy movie. However, this is something that Disney does all the time now, unfortunately, so I really shouldn't have been that surprised. Honestly, I don't have too much positive to say on this film. I will say the music was boppin', and I did enjoy Stanley Tucci and Caleb Heron's characters, but besides that, there wasn't much else I really liked about this movie. To start, this film runs at 2 hours. 2 hours! That is way, way too long, dude. This movie feels so drawn and fluffed out that they easily could have cut at least 30 minutes off the runtime. The performances are the same as they were in the first movie, although I feel like Stanley Tucci's character had more depth this go around, so they definitely gave him more to work with, which I appreciated. The story in this film was also basically a repeat of the first movie, although I will give some credit that they at least tried to add some modern elements, but the script really is essentially the same bones as the 2006 film. The character arcs are pretty much beat for beat, and it feels like the writers didn't really know how to do a sequel to the first film without just remaking it, with the characters doing the exact same things 20 years later. The movie's jokes also felt very cringe, oh my gosh, why? There were mentions of kids nowadays and the classic you can't say nothing nowadays, with a few class warfare jokes sprinkled on top for good measure. Which, granted, the class warfare jokes were in the first movie, but with the current state of the world, these just felt really tone deaf. Overall, this movie just felt unnecessary, redundant, and way too long. So, on my scale, this film gets a hey Heidi, no really, maybe just stop. But now that I've let you know my rating, I wanted to share a few more thoughts that I had that go a little bit into spoiler territory, so if you will want to avoid all spoilers, click away now. And I am starting spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So, truthfully, the crux of my issues with this film is the messaging. The original Devil Wears Prada was a movie of its time that was trying to point out the problems that plagued the fashion industry and to commentate on the price of success in the fashion business as a whole. However, this second film just feels like the messaging is, hey guys, don't forget, rich people are human too. And, at the end of the day, all of us just being human beings with problems, we should just be really forgiving towards one another. Which also in this movie means that we need to continue to uphold a really toxic work institution and further enable our rich bosses' behaviors without any real accountability. The main characters in this film are honestly all super rich, entitled, arrogant, snobby, backstabbing, self-obsessed individuals who don't ever seem to face any real consequences for some reason, which not only makes this a redundant and very frustrating 2-hour film to sit through, it also undoes the messaging of the first film. I appreciated the commentary on rich finance bros who don't really understand the value of people and art, but they don't really explore that concept all that much. It also felt insane to me that at the beginning of the film, then Andy complains about a CEO taking home millions, but I seriously doubt that Miranda is paid a small salary, and by the end of the movie, it feels like the messaging is that we saved Runway because Miranda deserved it, and she kind of half-heartedly turned over sort of a new leaf, and not because tons of people needed their livelihoods preserved. Their work was at stake, we need to preserve that, but no, let's all do it for Miranda because why not? She's just amazing. We love her so much. The work-life balance discussion in this film is also abysmal. It felt like a very direct advertisement for corporate America in the worst way. It feels like the writers on this film genuinely are just out of touch and really unsure of how to connect with the masses or stick the landing, which is a bummer because the movie started out actually taking an interesting angle, with Andy being let go and then wanting to fight back against the C suite suits. But then by the end, the messaging just felt so counterintuitive to what they were saying at the beginning of the film. Sorry if that felt too rambly, but honestly, I was just so annoyed watching this movie, and I just wanted to give you a fuller picture of my thoughts about the film and why I rated it the way I did. But let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know what you thought of The Devil Wears Prada 2. Did you enjoy this movie? Let me know why. And if you didn't, also comment below. Tell me why you didn't like it. But thank you everyone so much for tuning in, and if you'd like to follow along on my movie review journey, please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all very soon.